Hello friends, welcome to Clinical Grounds in Pulmonary Medicine. In this class, we will do follow-up of our patient who had ABPA. This video I am making Hindi also, so maximum people can benefit it. So let's see our patient and we will do follow-up. So if you remember, our patient was a 21-year-old male named Kallu who had ABPA B, acute attack or newly diagnosed. So this was the steroid plan we had before prescribing steroid. So we had planned to give 30 milligram of prednisolone for 1 month, then 15 milligram for another month, 7.5 for 1 month, then reduce 5 milligram OD for 15 days, then 5 milligram alternate day for 15 days. So this is the prescription we gave to patient, and along with steroid we have given antibiotic, treatment for asthma, vitamin D3, alternate for osteoporosis, and for gastritis we have given omeprazole. So now question is how to do follow up, because follow up is important. If you do follow up sincerely, then you can save the lungs of patients. Otherwise, lung will be damaged by ABPA. So, how to do follow up? We have to see clinically, because patient doesn't bother about his serum Ig, specific Ig. He wants symptomatically better. He wants symptomatically better. He want to relieve. He want to get relief in his breathlessness, cough, fever. So we have to see clinically along with spirometry and chest X-ray. Along with this, we have to do total serum IgE. So remember, IgE specific for Aspergillus for screening purpose. For follow purpose, we have to do total serum IgE, and we have to repeat these parameters after 2 months or 8 weeks. Guideline says 8 to 12 weeks, but we are doing at 8 weeks. So there should be reduction of total Ig by 20%. So you have to remember two figure, 20% and 50%. Okay, if there is increase by more than 50%, this is acute exacerbation, means patient is not responding to treatment. If it is reduction by 20%, it means there is response or treatment is working. So after 8 weeks, we have repeat serum IgE, and it was 300. Previously, at the time of starting treatment, it was 650. So there is reduction by more than 20%. So if there is reduction by more than 20%, it means treatment is working, and we will say response phase, because patient is responding to steroid. So that serum Ig at the level when patient is stable, we call it as baseline serum Ig. So baseline serum Ig is not 650. Baseline serum Ig is 300. So further follow up with IgE depends on baseline Ig. How much reduction is there, how much increment is there. So another follow up we have to do at 16 weeks, after 16 weeks or after 4 months on steroid. So patient was symptomically better, IgE was slightly raised, but not increased more than 50%. Okay, baseline is 300, now is 350. So slightly increase, not 50%. So this phase is called response phase, means patient is responding well to steroid treatment. After 4 months of completion of steroid, we have stopped steroid and continue inhalers for asthma treatment. Okay, so after stopping steroid, when to repeat IgE, we have to do follow up again. So we have to follow up at 3 to 6 months for the first year. So when you stop the steroid, you have to call patient 3 to 6 months for first year. You have to repeat total IgE, right? After first year, you have to do every 6 to 12 months follow up. Okay, so if patient is stable after 6 months of steroids treatment, then this phase is called remission phase. So what is response phase? When total IgE reduced by more than 20%. Mean disease is stable. That is called response phase. Remission phase, after stopping steroid, patient should have remission for 6 months, or patient is stable for 6 months. That is called remission phase. So our patient Kallu, after stopping steroid for 1 year, he was stable. It means patient have 6 months of remission phase. Okay. But after 6 months of remission phase, or after 1 year of stopping treatment, he again developed fever, increased shortness of breath, and cough for 10 days. Okay. Definitely patient is having acute exacerbation. But what to do further? Guideline says after stopping treatment, 50% of ABPA patient they are having ABP exacerbation. Means recurrence is very common. Half of the patient whom you are thinking that patient is stable, they are going to have exacerbation. Half of patient. This is very common exacerbation. So whenever you get ABPA exacerbation or any worsening of respiratory symptoms, so you have to see any other cause which can increase these symptoms like asthma exacerbation, ABP exacerbation, or bronchiectasis. So any exacerbation of any of these conditions may give rise to similar symptoms, right? So to rule out each one, we have to repeat chest radiograph, we have to repeat total serum IgE and sputum for bacterial culture. Okay, so by these three means, and we have to monitor other things. Patient is having high grade fever, patient is having purulent sputum, patient is having high TLC count. They may show acute exacerbation bronchiectasis. So to label as a EBP exacerbation, we have to rule out asthma exacerbation and bronchiectasis. Our patient, we have repeated X-ray. X-ray was similar as previous X-ray, baseline X-ray. But sputum was trial and serum IgE now 650. How much baseline? Baseline was 300. So there is more than 50% increase in total serum IgE. It means ABPA exacerbation. Okay, so our patient Kallu is having ABPA exacerbation. Okay, so if you see CT scan, you can see bronchiectasis in lower lobe, and if you see carefully, you can see this signet ring sign. Okay, so this patient is having ABPA exacerbation, right? So according to guideline, how to define acute ABPA? So ABPA, if symptom is more than 2 weeks or radiological worsening. So if you think patient is stable but he is having worsening radiologically, or patient is having symptoms and patient is having raised serum IgE by 50% and exclusion of other cause of worsening like asthma and bronchiectasis. If patient is fulfilling these criteria, it means patient is having ABPA exacerbation. Our patient Kallu is having these all fulfilled all criteria. So now question is how to treat this patient. So what guideline says? So guideline says if patient is having ABP exacerbation, you have to treat same as newly diagnosed ABPA. Okay. If patient is having two or more than two exacerbation in last 1 to 2 years, then we have to give combination of prednisolone and itraconazole. So our patient had second acute attack or second exacerbation. So in this patient, we can combine itraconazole or we can treat with steroid also. So what is the indication for combining this treatment, steroid and itraconazole? When to combine these two? So what guideline says? If patient is having blood eosinophil count more than 1000, then you have to treat with both steroid plus itraconazole. If there is extensive bronchiectasis, means involvement of more than 10 segments, then we have to combine these two treatment. If patient is having two or more exacerbation in 1 to 2 year, then we have to combine these two modality like steroid with itraconazole. So these three indications are there to combine steroid with itraconazole. Since our patient is first exacerbation or previously was newly diagnosed ABPA, now is first exacerbation, and there is no radiological worsening. So we have to start steroid. Same dose as previous episode. So what is the dose? Again 0.5, 0.25, 0.125, then taper 5 milligram every 2 weeks till discontinuation. We have to give treatment for 4 months. So this is same prescription which we have given when patient came first time as ABPA diagnosis. So antibiotic, prednisolone, treatment for asthma control, then supplements, vitamin D3, eldronate and omeprazole. So this is the treatment prescription we used to give for ABPA patient. And this prescription may be different for you and different for prescription may be different for other physician. Right. So this is my prescription. Right. So what are the other treatment, role of other treatment? So many prescriptions or many people they say that can we use high dose steroid? So remember, high dose steroid do not achieve symptom controls or reduce ABPA exacerbation. So we should not use high dose steroid for ABPA, high dose inhaled steroid for ABPA. It is used for asthma control, right? So our most or treatment of choice is oral steroid. Okay. So those patients who are not able to tolerate steroid or contraindication steroid, then we can use itraconazole or voriconazole, right? Oral itraconazole has steroid sparing effect, as I told you now. We can use oral posaconazole, antifungal. When to use biologicals? So biological we can use like omalizumab, other biological like mepolizumab, benralizumab, dupilumab. It mainly help in asthma, may not help in exacerbation ABPA. So in ABPA we can use when we are not able to use steroid and patient is having high IgE and eosinophilia, we can consider these biologicals. But main treatment is steroid. In few patients, we can use nebulized amphotericin B, which may reduce ABPA exacerbation. So these are the other treatment. But remember, mainstay of treatment is steroid. If you are not able to use steroid, use antifungal in the form of itraconazole. You can combine steroid with itraconazole in selected patient, those who have high eosinophilic count, those who have extensive bronchiectasis, and those who have two or more ABPA exacerbation. And this is the classification ABPA given by guideline. Acute ABPA or newly ABPA, as I told you, symptoms with increase in total IgE or patient is having specific IgE, that is acute ABPA. Response after 8 weeks if IgE reduced by 20% and patients should have improvement in symptomatic control by 50%, measured by visual analog scale. So patient should have improvement by 50% and measure radiological improvement by 50%. So this is response. Remission, sustained clinical radiological improvement after stopping steroid. After stopping steroid, patient should be stable for 6 months. That is remission. What is treatment dependent ABPA? Two or more ABP exacerbation within 3 months of stopping glucocorticoids. And last, advanced ABPA means the patient is having extensive bronchiectasis involving more than 10 segments, or patient is having complication like cor or patient is having type 2 respiratory failure. So this is advanced ABPA. We can find signs of fibrosis also. So this is the algorithm. So when patient is having newly diagnosed ABPA, you start with glucocorticoid. If you're not able to give glucocorticoid, you can start itraconazole. After 4 months, you have to follow with total IgE. So if it is reduction by more than 20%, it responds. If it is increased by 50%, then this is exacerbation, more than 50%. If patient is stable for 6 months, that is remission phase. If patient is having exacerbation within 3 months of stopping steroid 2 times, then this is treatment dependent ABPA. So this is how guideline classify ABPA. So thankfully our patient is improving on steroid and patient is still on steroid. Patient is coming for follow up, so our patient is improving. So this is how we have to approach a patient of ABPA, how to do treatment, how to follow up. So take home point, every patient of asthma we have to screen for ABPA by Asperger specific IgE, because early diagnosis and treatment of ABP can save the lung. Steroid is the mainstay of treatment. Okay, rule out ABP mimickers like acute severe asthma, acute attack of bronchiectasis. We have to do other test. Recurrence is high, around 50%. So we have to follow up very carefully. Okay, we have to repeat a chest X-ray and we have to repeat total serum IgE every 2 months to see in follow up. So this is how we have to follow up a ABP patient. So with this, thank you. If you like this video, please like it, share with your friends, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe it. See you with next video. Thank you very much.